everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. Pop quiz time! Have you been hearing about cabin communities, pallet homes, or even tiny homes? Whatever version you've heard of, these housing units have become an essential resource in Los Angeles for transitional housing for our homeless community. We joined up with council members Kevin DeLeon and Bob Blumenfield as they spent the night in a cabin community to get a first-hand look at the resources available. Check it out.
I'm so proud. We're going to be opening this site, which is another 150 beds, next Wednesday. Tonight we have two incredible politicians who have come tonight to listen, who have come to experience what the process of these tiny homes is like.
Four to five people die on the streets of Los Angeles every day or every night. That's wrong. That's unconscionable. That's not how we as a city, as a community, want to live.
I remember laying down, sleeping on the grass. Now I'm sleeping on a bed with 3 pillows.
You can't even compare it to sleeping in a tent on cement, concrete, or asphalt. In the park, in an alleyway, on a street, or even in your car. It is apples and oranges. It's a light year difference between living on the streets and having your own locked door. We're going to actually live here tonight. We're going to spend the night here. We're going to experience what it's like to live in a pallet shelter. It'll give us ideas, what works, perhaps what doesn't work.
This is your site, so you can, this will be your calling home tonight. Make yourself comfortable.
Well, yours is much bigger than mine. Cabin 76, this is where I'm spending the night tonight. Come on in. Obviously, it's very different for someone who's coming off the street and living in this versus I understand, you know, this is just one night out of my life. It's not going to be the same experience, but it does. I think it's important to do to feel, have that sense of what it's like to live in this cabin.
When somebody comes here, we tell them, your next stop is permanent housing.
Este programa es realmente temporal, es para establecerse, para luego tener un tipo de vivienda permanente.
You can bring your pet, and we will make sure that we care for both ends of the leash.
We go from an overnight stay to a groundbreaking with Councilmember DeLeon the very next morning. The Highland Park Tiny Homes Village, when completed, will be the largest of its kind in California. We join the team behind the project as they break out their shovels.
This site is going to get well over 200 people off the street, provide them the mental health services, the addiction services, the life skills, the job placement, and the housing navigation services to move them from the street into permanent supportive housing.
La casa pequeña, 64 pies cuadrados, una cama, colchón, cobijas, sábanas, almohada. Para mí fue una experiencia excelente, ¿no? Y por eso tenemos que hacer todo lo posible para construir las casas pequeñas lo más pronto posible, para que nuestra gente no siga sufriendo en las calles, en las banquetas, en los callejones.
Homelessness is one of the worst crises that we've faced in our generation, and I think it takes all of us to participate in the program. So building these tiny home sites here is important. I also say it's important that there's a balance, and that balance means that there's a balance for making sure that our parks are for everyone, and that there's and I think this project represents that balance where the park can still be a park, but we can also serve as a solution to the homelessness crisis.
Summer is here and kids of all ages are ready to get out and use their parks. We caught up with council member Joe Buscaino for the opening of the Normandale skate park in his district. Keep your eyes on these kids for a future 2028 Olympic contender.
3, 2, 1! Enjoy your new skate park!
Yeah, local government works best when it listens, and we listen loud and clear to the community and most importantly to the kids. And they wanted a safe place to skate. A place where they can come with their families. And here you're going to see a skate park that's going to be embraced by the community and ensure that they're safe in a controlled environment and not out in the streets where they can get hurt.
It's bringing more action into skateboarding, bringing more awareness to skateboarding, and at the end of the day, that's all we really care about. Getting new kids on their boards and the next generation being able to skate and have fun with it.
And also, as we approach the 2028 Olympics, we are hopeful that an Olympian emerges from the skate park here.
Because we have so many skate parks, 29 in total, and there's more coming, there's loads of opportunities that we can highlight skateboarding across the city leading up to the Olympics. And as the councilman said, one of you may one day become that.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We're out here because we were dedicated and we showed motivation. Anything is possible. As long as you stick to your dreams, it can happen.
Hold on to it. That's all that matters.
Work hard.
Councilmember Curran Price has made it his mission to create affordable housing in Council District 9. We join him for the latest opening, named after the beloved performer and activist, Florence Mills.
We're really thrilled. It's a community celebration. We have 74 new households living at our new Florence Mills apartments here in CD9. And we also are celebrating our new commercial tenant. There's 5,000 square feet facing Central Avenue. And we're excited to welcome the Young Musicians Foundation as our commercial tenant. And they're going to provide free music instruction, classes, and programming to all of the residents of Florence Mills.
Well, this is another in a series of our housing commitments in our community. And so we're very pleased with the grand opening here of the Florence Mills apartments. And it complements the development that we're doing in this area and the real need for housing.
I really wanted people to look up and be curious, almost like give them clues about her history, her legacy, her art.
There'll be a recording studio, there's going to be a media arts lab, there'll be various classrooms. And this will be a big open space that will be configurable to have ensembles, recitals, big concerts.
Completion of Florence Mills is going to add to a growing number of affordable housing units that I've approved here in CD9. In fact, there are over 2,400 units in the pipeline now. Sets a tone that we know is going to make a real difference in this community.
Come see what affordable housing is. I think you'll be impressed.
LA's been seeing some hot weather, and Angelinos are flocking to public pools to cool off and have some fun. We met up with council member Marquise Harris Dawson for the opening of the Ness Pool in South LA.
It's a great day today in South Los Angeles. We call this Double Dip Day, and right now we're at Van Ness Park at Slauson and Van Ness. Brand new pool, water slide, swim classes, water yoga classes, synchronized swimming, competition swimming. It's just a bevy of activity that the community deserves.
El área necesitaba algo así. Tengo años viviendo aquí y no había algo que algo parecido. En esta área se ha mirado mucha diferencia alrededor de este parque.
I think for us it brings you know, a sense of home for the community because a lot of people haven't had a pool here. I want to say maybe in about 15 years. Come down to Ness Pool and come swim. It's open, it's new, we have a lot of space. We have a diving board and a slide. I don't think that everybody had that the last time this pool was here, so with these new attractions, I think, you know, everybody should come and enjoy the fun.
Council unanimously approves 2 new leaders in public works. The mayor rolls out LA's eviction defense program, and the LA waterfront finds a new tenant for a historic building. These stories up next on City Beat.
The Los Angeles City Council has recently confirmed 2 new appointments for some of the city's largest agencies. The Bureau of Sanitation will welcome new Executive Director Barbara Romero. Romero has served as the Deputy Mayor of City Services since March 2015. She will be the first Latina to head the department. Keith Mosey has been appointed Executive Director of the Bureau of Street Services, also known as Streets LA. Mosey has been with the Bureau of Lighting for 31 years, working in various divisions from truck operator to overseeing engineering and operations. Since 2016, he has served as the Streets LA Assistant Director. Both Mosey and Romero are lifelong Angelenos and were confirmed unanimously by the City Council. Mayor Garcetti, LA community leaders at LA City's Housing and Community Investment Department recently held a virtual press conference to announce the launch of the Eviction Defense Program. This service is set to offer protection in the form of free legal representation, counseling, tenant outreach, and educational workshops for LA City renters. The Eviction Defense Program is a $10 million COVID-19 response to the pandemic. It is designed to reach more than 100,000 households over the next 2 years. A new eatery is making its home at the historical U.S. Immigration Building in San Pedro. The Port of LA announced Tranny's Dockside Station will be the latest addition to the LA waterfront. The new home of Tranny's Dockside Station is the same location of another legendary restaurant, Canetti's Seafood Grotto. Owners of the new restaurant promise a unique dining experience that incorporates historical elements that pays tribute to neighborhood locals and generations of fishermen. The LA waterfront development consists of 400 acres of existing Port of LA property in San Pedro and Wilmington. Find out more about the projects at lawaterfront.org.
Urban ecologist Kat Superfisky is a true believer that huge cities like Los Angeles play a major role in revitalizing the local ecosystems. Maria Hall-Brown joined her for a chat by the LA River to discuss how urban ecologists help create new paths for greener spaces.
I'm delighted to be joined today by the one, the only LA urban ecologist.
The job of an urban ecologist is to not only understand, again, kind of the environmental aspects of these places that we're living in, but to really figure out how is it that those things are, connected to people.
As you were saying earlier, something very special about this particular portion of the river.
And this is one of the best places to come and see a lot of wildlife diversity. And it's amazing to be able to see. I mean, we've got a white egret that's flying over here.
It's a little distracting.
Family of mallard ducks over there. There's tons of black-necked stilts. There's osprey that come around. So to me, the fact that I can get up out of my house, I can walk to a place like the bike path, and I can take a quick stroll and see so many different types of plants, some of which were historically here since the beginning of time, others of which were brought in by us in our development. You see tons of different animal life, and then you're still seeing the Metrolink maintenance yard across the way. You're seeing a new bridge come in. You're seeing still kind of the urban that we have here in Los Angeles. So that's what I love about it, and that's what I love about this portion of the river, is that juxtaposition between still seeing nature, but seeing it literally in this very, very urban context.
Why is it important for us to take this action and invest all this energy to fix what may have been erroneously put into place.
The benefits that people get from being outdoors, from connecting to things outside of, again, concrete, steel, and infrastructure are immense. The physical, the mental, just the well-being that we get as humans from being around these kind of spaces alone is a reason to do it.
We talked about this as well. How will you know that it's been successful, that this is now truly a river and not a flood channel?
To me, I really see that success would be just getting more people to even know that spaces like this exist, and that they can be using and loving and appreciating and advocating for these spaces as they see fit.
Well, thank you, because she is quite surprising, and surprising in a number of ways, and what I've been able to see today has been exquisite.
During the pandemic, the connection with LA City's Department of Aging was a true lifeline for many of our senior Angelenos. They were advocates for housing rights, mental health resources, and even delivering meals. As their offices are reopening, we caught up with the department for a look at their continuing senior services.
El Departamento para Personas Mayores trabaja asistiendo a las personas mayores a diferentes programas y servicios dependiendo de las edades. Empezamos con un programa de 55 años para arriba y en adelante asistencia en vivienda, alimentos, comidas, centros sociales, trabajadores sociales, servicios sociales que una persona pueda necesitar o sus familiares. Lo que tratamos de hacer en el departamento es por medio de los servicios sociales en los centros sociales. Nosotros aquí atendemos las llamadas por teléfono y lo referimos a los trabajadores sociales. Aquí hacemos llamadas usualmente a diario, trabajando con grupos de personas que necesitan una llamada a diario. Si nosotros no lo podemos hacer, el centro social se encargaría de poder asistirles y poder conectarlos con servicios y otros servicios, actividades sociales en sus áreas.
This is a good department. We do wellness calls. Call and make sure the participants that we have are doing, how are they doing? If they are out of water, we supply them with water. Fans for when it's a heat wave. We have different departments that does like ear programs. That's the emergency alert program. There's so many programs.
Anything regarding our programs and services, they can always call our front desk, our reception line, which is 213-482-7252. We have people ready to answer their calls, or if not, they'll leave a message, and we keep a daily call log, and we try to make sure that we call people back within 24 hours, no later than 48 hours, just depending on how many number of calls that we have. But we've been able to call back most people within the same day or at least 24 hours.
Senator Alex Padilla was back in Los Angeles this week, and we caught up with him at the USS Iowa as he leads the swearing-in ceremony for 50 new U.S. citizens. For this group, Independence Day will have a brand new significance.
It is indeed a very, very special day for all of you, and I thank you for the honor of being able to be part of this ceremony and part of your celebration.
We have conducted a naturalization ceremony oath administering for over 50 individuals who are coming from 25 different countries. This is an opportunity to commemorate a very big moment in their lives in becoming naturalized citizens. It's during the Independence Day weekend, and so it's themed on the USS Iowa Museum, which is quite symbolic of our American heritage, and just a wonderful opportunity to gather and celebrate becoming United States citizens.
It's a big opportunity just to be part of this great country, because this country gave us a lot, and now I think it's time to give something in return. As a citizen.
Mis hijos ya son nacidos aquí y es una meta que yo quería para hacer para mí.
Bueno, sí, con orgullo, pero por nuestra experiencia personal, felicito a los nuevos ciudadanos de hoy, no solo por convertirse en ciudadanos, sino por el valor que tomó a un tiempo en decidir a venir a los Estados Unidos buscando mejor oportunidades.
Technology and medical care have always gone hand in hand. This month, in our ongoing series with USC, we meet Dr. Skip Rizzo of the USC Institute for Creative Technologies. He gives us a tour of how he's using virtual reality to treat patients with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is a clinical condition where somebody who's been exposed to a traumatic event or a very threatening type event has an enduring set of symptoms that don't just go away. It involves symptoms of being hypervigilant and quick to startle. They avoid going to places or thinking about things that remind them of the traumatic experience. The biggest myth about PTSD is that it's untreatable and that there's no hope. There's a ton of hope out there if you seek the treatment. Our work specifically focuses on an approach called prolonged exposure therapy and delivering that in virtual reality. Prolonged exposure involves having the patient close their eyes and imagine a traumatic event and narrate their experience as if it's happening right then and there. This is something they've been avoiding doing all along because it's just so painful. So our view was always that we could engage people if we put them in a virtual environment that mimicked the kinds of experiences that they had. If it's not set right, it'll look blurry.
Yeah.
We integrate computers, VR headsets, and we also have a platform that we run the sound through that has subwoofers. So when somebody's sitting on a chair on the platform or standing on the platform, all the sound goes through. So when you're driving a Humvee, you feel the vibration. When a bomb goes off, you feel the rumbling. It's a way of embodying the experience beyond what your eyes and ears pick up from, very sophisticated computer graphics and audio inputs. Our lab now is moving towards taking everything we've learned in the last 15 years and evolving this approach and testing it and doing research to move it towards the civilian sector. So sexual trauma, police. People don't realize that police, they're exposed to combat-like trauma, particularly in the inner city, every day. Honestly, we tell patients, it's going to get harder before it gets easier. We're going to ask you to go back into the heart of darkness. But we're going to be here. We're going to do it gradually at a pace you can handle. And as you do this more and more, eventually you don't feel as anxious and you start to feel empowered.
Councilmember Curran Price, his staff, and community volunteers made their holiday weekend count. They put on their summer clothes and got into the joy of giving with an Independence Day food giveaway for Angelenos still affected by the pandemic.
We're here celebrating the 4th of July weekend, really providing some fun and excitement for some of our local families. We've got volunteers here today from our unions, community-based organizations, and we're going to be distributing over 800 boxes of food and other goodies so that folks can have some resources to celebrate the 4th of July weekend with.
En estas cajas tenemos alimentos de pollo, tenemos carne para hacer hot dogs, tenemos sus elotes, todo lo que usted necesita para hacer una buena carne asada este fin de semana.
I think we're estimating several hundred vehicles will be coming through.
I have 3 neighbors that are homebound. One had COVID twice, so I asked her not to come out today. So that's where this food is going.
The message of the community is to come together. This is certainly an important holiday to celebrate, but it's also a chance for family and friends to get together, and this is certainly an opportunity to appreciate the ability to be with each other.
When police issues arise in Los Angeles, it's the job of the Media Relations Division to make sure information is shared with the public. Captain Stacey Spell sits down with Maria Hallbrown for a discussion on his work on transparency and public safety.
As a spokesperson for the LAPD, what is the definition of that responsibility?
So really, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades in the sense that there's a lot of different things that fall under our communications position, but primarily it's my responsibility to get information out to the public, really in a way that builds trust. It's a way that we can really give people a sense of transparency and what we're about, and it also helps to demystify a lot of things that people don't know about police departments or how officers engage the public.
So you get quoted a lot. What you say literally represents the department. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. We want to make sure that we're inclusive, that we don't say things that are going to further divide, especially when the whole purpose of giving information is to give people a greater sense of confidence in the police department.
Where is the line between what we should and have a right to have as far as transparency is concerned? Where is that line, and how do you determine that line?
It's a line that depends on variables. I mean, there are certain things that are concrete as far as, if we have an arrestee, for example, that information by law, we have to put that information out there. But also when we look at crimes or events, there may be times where there are witnesses or even victims, and there are identities that we have to protect. There are things that we do that if we release information, it may turn around and jeopardize our ability to find additional suspects. Some of those things, they cause us to have to hold back a little bit. So as much as we want to be transparent, we give all the information that we can, but then those things that'll potentially jeopardize public safety, those are the things that we'll hold back.
What are some of the good stories that if you had your druthers, you would be out every single day on, national prime time saying, this is what happened today?
So I think about a number of things that I've seen on body-worn video. I remember there was one particular instance where a couple officers, they ran across a homeless man and they gave him like a starter suit, like a workout, just workout gear. And I think about how he received that and his expression and how moved he was by these officers' compassion and the fact that, just getting something as simple as a fresh set of clothing, how it gave him different perspective. And so I see stories like that really demonstrate the humanity and the compassion of our officers, and I'm moved by it. And those are the stories I want to tell every day.
The Sun Valley Youth Arts Center welcomes you back. LA Public Library wants you to learn Caribbean steel pan, and Angels Gate Cultural Center has you seeing multiples. These items up next on Things to Do.
The Sun Valley Youth Arts Center would like to invite SoCal families to their Welcome Back reopening. To kick things off, the center wants you to enjoy 5 free summer sessions of their Saturday art workshops. Materials for these family-friendly workshops will be provided. Space is on a first-come, first-served basis, and social distancing guidelines dictate 1 family per table. For additional information, call 818-252-4619. Teens and Tweens, the Los Angeles Public Library has put together the ultimate virtual Caribbean drum circle just for you. Join Joseph Peck, a professional Caribbean steel drum musician, for a cool Zoom session about steel pan, also known as steel drum. Peck will introduce participants to the innovative design, development, and cultural significance of the steel drum. Chill out and rock out with the Caribbean Drum Circle, happening Thursday, July 15th at 4 p.m. You can register for this event at tinyurl.com/Caribbean Drum. You are invited to check out Multiples, a collective art exhibit at the Angels Gate Cultural Center. The collection endeavors to explore what makes an encounter between object and viewer sincere. Multiples will be showing at the Angels Gate Cultural Center Gallery in San Pedro, July 10th through September 11th. The AGCC Gallery is open by appointment Thursday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information on gallery appointments and to access the virtual exhibition, visit angelsgateart.org. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.